I was a film student once upon in 2018. This is me setting the scene because I'm tired of making half-baked videos and calling them my art, even though that footage is scattered across my archives and will probably never see the light of day, let's be honest. I spent a while oscillating between forgetting and remembering myself, and with the last wave, I realised that I wanted to carve a window into my process that would give you something a little less flat Stanley, if you get the reference, you get the reference, whilst honouring my own multidimensionality. So I chose to start from the relative beginning of my co-creation process. Relative because the inspiration didn't start at my desk, and co-creation because a kindred soul helped me realise that this work is not just from me, but through me. I want to be myself. I am myself. What I mean is I want to be myself and do it with a little less reservation, because somewhere along the line I became encased, a bit like a brain in a skull whose shutters were closed. So here I am, kind of bearing my soul again, as I'm used to doing by now, but in a different way, with a little more light coming through the windows, with my sketchbook open so that you can see it from the beginning. I guess the point of this, I know the point of this is to show you that it's not a perfect process. The end result is not where we begin. And this journey sure as hell ain't linear. It's not linear. You probably heard that before, that the journey isn't linear, but I'm showing you how my journey twists and turns and winds and flips and jumps because it's not a straightforward process. With each and every piece of art that I make, it's always from this space that it feels sometimes like I can never describe it in the way that it shows up for me, but if I can show you, then perhaps it will translate in a way that you can kind of do something with. So here I am filming myself in the art process, and yeah. Essentially what I'm doing here is using a reference photo that I took, which I would call a primary image. I went to the park, I had a little play in the park, and I took some pictures of myself, and then I sat down with my sketchbook that I bound myself, and I know that I said I was gonna upload a video of me binding a sketchbook, which I fully intended to do, but unfortunately I lost the footage, so I'm gonna have to refilm that. I drawn in my sketchbook, and I had a moment there where I was gonna erase a chunk of what I did, but then I realised, hang on, there's something really cool happening here. And I love the happy accidents. Shout out Bob Ross. He's actually the whole reason I even realised that I was good at art. I was like 7 years old. I was 7 years old painting a windowsill with him, and I realised I was good at painting. Yeah, and now I paint people because I don't do landscape like that. What I'm doing now is drawing from my picture, and there are two positions there, if you can see. The second one, the lower down one, I realised it was coming off the page and I didn't want that. But instead of finding an eraser, I decided to carry on, and I'm so glad that I did, because it just literally gave birth to a whole new concept that I hadn't thought of before. And that happens so regularly when I'm creating. For me, a lot of it is a practice in surrendering to the process and not trying to control and manipulate it so much. And it's so funny because all of my tutors and teachers have told me, don't, like, the general principle is that you don't start from the end of the project, you don't start from the final image or outcome and then build backwards. But that's exactly what I do every single time. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I will start with the outcome in my mind and then just figure out what the journey is to that destination. And it's perhaps seen as an inside out way of working, but I felt like that's what's most natural to me, so I do what feels most natural to me. I haven't necessarily painted or drawn exactly what I see on these pages. This for now is just using my reference imagery, but I already know what I want the outcome to look like, so I'm exploring the context and the meaning behind it up until that work comes to life. This is me trying to find a way to explain this that makes sense but it doesn't give away too much. But the whole point of this is to make this a little more vulnerable, to show you more of who I am, right? That's what I said I wanted to do. I wanted to be myself and do it in front of a lens a little bit more, you know? I used to be on YouTube so much more in a different capacity, and then I decided it wasn't enough for me anymore. I'm coming from a different angle with it, you know? So I hope this resonates somehow with someone. It's a new day, baby. And if you're wondering what the text is about, I've written parallel play. This was on my mind because I had a random train of thought where I was just thinking, actually, it wasn't that random. I've had this thought many times, but I was very intrigued about what it means to have like ADHD or processing disorders. So I was doing a bit of research, and then I came across something that I've seen before and that has resonated before, but I kind of forgot. And it's called hypersensitive processing. There's a whole book on it that I intend to read. Parallel play is something that has come to mind as well. I've essentially felt a link between the two topics, and so what I'm doing is exploring how I can build a bridge between them. At the risk of putting too many words to the process, I will stop here and let you take it in. I will be back when I'm back with some more inspiration. I hope you enjoy what I've shared today. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Until next time.